I'm 22 years older than the average person who dies in this country, and it's simply because of what I eat.
Meet Mike Fremont, born in Cincinnati, Ohio, on February 23, 1922. A quiet, numbers and systems kind of man who spent his life as a mechanical engineer. Not a celebrity, but Mike's story doesn't start with fame. It starts with a sentence that would break most people. At 69, doctors told him he had colon cancer. And if he didn't get operated on, he had months. So Mike did something almost nobody does when fear hits. He went cold turkey on the standard American diet and committed to a strict whole food, plant-based way of eating. No exceptions. And then came the moment that sounds like a movie line. After surgery, he says the doctor checked 35 places for metastasis and found none. Mike believes that decision, what he quit first, is what gave him decades back. Here's the wild part. Mike didn't slow down like everyone expects. He kept moving, running and canoe racing, and even in his late 90s, he was still running 10 miles 3 times a week before eventually dialing it back. So how does a man at 103 still look sharp, still move strong, and still run like aging never got permission? Stay with me, because in this video, we're revealing the 3 things he refuses to eat, the ones he says age men fast, what he eats instead, and the simple routine that kept Mike Fremont strong past 100. 3 foods he eats. Oats plus berries. Mike Fremont's day doesn't start with something exotic. No miracle smoothie, no complicated stack of powders. It starts with a bowl, oatmeal, warm, basic, almost old school, and then a handful of berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, sometimes with a small piece of mango if it's around. That's it. Not because he can't afford better, not because he doesn't know what's trending, but because this kind of food does one thing exceptionally well. It gives your body steady fuel without drama. Oats are the kind of breakfast that doesn't beg you to snack an hour later. They move slow. They keep hunger quiet. And when you're trying to stay strong in your later decades, that matters more than people realize. Because the real enemy isn't just aging, it's the constant cycle of spikes and crashes that makes your body feel older than it is. That cycle makes your energy unpredictable. It makes you crave junk at night. It makes you sleep lighter. And it slowly turns your body into a machine that's always chasing the next hit of quick fuel. Mike's breakfast does the opposite. It's the kind of meal that says, calm down. We're not in a rush. We're building today the same way we build every day. Steady. That's the theme of his entire life. Not intensity for a week, consistency for decades. And the berries? That's not diet food. That's strategic. Berries are a simple, repeatable way to keep the body supported without turning meals into a chemistry experiment. They're easy, they travel, they don't require a recipe, and they keep the meal clean without feeling like punishment. That matters because the plan you can repeat is always stronger than the plan you can't. This is what Mike's food teaches. The goal isn't to eat like a robot. The goal is to eat like a man who respects his future. Simple foods, reliable fuel, fewer cravings, less chaos, more control. Beans, every day. If there's one anchor in Mike Fremont's day, one food that shows up again and again, it's beans. Not as a trend, as a rule. Black beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans, sometimes as plain as half a can with a few drops of tamari for taste, and the other half goes into the fridge for tomorrow. That detail matters because it tells you exactly who Mike is. He's not chasing flavor, he's building structure. Beans are the kind of food that quietly does the heavy lifting. They keep you full. They keep your hunger stable. They are simple enough to eat daily without thinking. And when you get older, thinking becomes the hidden tax that drains discipline. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they're tired. They don't want another decision. They don't want another complicated meal. They want something that works. Beans are that. They're the type of meal that doesn't create a crash. They don't send you into a sugar hunt at night. They don't make you feel heavy and regretful the next day. They're quiet power food. Unsexy, but effective. And that's what separates men who stay strong from men who slowly soften. The strong ones don't chase excitement in their diet. They chase repeatability. The other reason beans matter in Mike's story is psychological. Beans are not a cheat. You don't binge beans. You don't spiral after beans. They don't open the door to chaos. You eat them, you move on, you live your day. That's what a longevity diet looks like. It doesn't hijack your brain. It doesn't trigger cravings. It doesn't become a battle. It becomes routine. And routine is what kept Mike moving when the average person stops. He didn't win because he did something extreme for a short period. He won because he built a system his older self could still follow. Broccoli plus real plants. Mike's third category is the simplest. Vegetables close to their natural state. Broccoli flowers, basic greens, plant foods that still look like what they are. He's not building a menu, he's building a pattern. Most people underestimate how powerful boring food can be. They think boring means weak. They think boring means you're missing out. But boring is often the exact thing that rescues you after 50, when your body no longer forgives daily chaos. When you eat a lot of real plants, something subtle happens. Your taste resets. Your cravings soften. Your stomach feels calmer. Your energy becomes more predictable. And the biggest benefit is this: your diet stops depending on motivation. You don't need hype to eat broccoli. You just do it because it's part of the system. Mike's entire approach is built on this principle. Don't create a lifestyle that requires you to be in the mood. Create a lifestyle that runs even when you're tired, even when you're stressed, even when life gets loud, because that's when most people lose. And that's why his food choices matter. They're not trendy, they're foundational. They aren't designed to impress anyone. They're designed to keep the machine running, quietly, consistently, year after year. 3 foods he avoids. No meat. Mike wasn't vague about this. He didn't say, I cut back. He didn't say, I'm mostly. He cut it out. No meat, no negotiating. And that's important because the power isn't only in the food, it's in the decisiveness. Most people try to change their health while still leaving the door open for their old habits. They want the new body, but they keep the old exits. They want to improve, but they keep their comfort foods on standby just in case. And what happens? They return to the same loop. Mike didn't do that. He made a clean cut. And clean cuts create clean results because they remove daily bargaining. You're not arguing with yourself at dinner. You're not maybe tomorrow. You're not playing mental tug of war. The rule is the rule, and a rule is easier to follow than a negotiation. This is why his story hits people. His discipline wasn't aggressive. It was organized. No dairy, no milk, no a little cheese. No exceptions disguised as moderation. Mike treats dairy like a boundary line he doesn't cross. And again, notice the theme. He didn't build a life around willpower. He built a life around fewer decisions. Mike didn't build his new life by debating his old one. He built his new life by committing. That's why his diet became automatic. And once your routine becomes automatic, you stop burning energy on self-control. You save that energy for living. No eggs. And yes, no eggs. Not because eggs are the villain in every case, but because his method is extreme clarity. When Mike decided to change, he didn't change halfway. He changed completely. That's what makes the story powerful. Most men think they need more motivation. They don't. They need fewer loopholes. Mike's mindset is, when you change for real. Not for applause. Not for a month. Not for a challenge. For your life. Final takeaway. Mike Fremont didn't just live a long time. He lived with a rule most people never adopt. When the moment comes, you stop negotiating with your future. He was told the worst, and instead of bargaining for comfort, he chose commitment. Then he repeated the basics until the basics became unstoppable. Real food, simple meals, low stress, steady movement, and a routine that didn't depend on motivation. So don't try to copy his entire life. Copy his starting point. Pick one thing you know is aging you fast and cut it for 7 days. Pick one movement you can repeat and do it 3 times a week. Then watch what happens to your cravings, your sleep, your energy, and your body's age. Because the difference between fading and staying powerful is usually one decision, repeated. And if you want a simple plan built around your age and your biggest struggle, comment belly fat/cravings/low energy. And I'll give you a clean weekly framework you can actually follow.